Hello, it's Angelika Kargulewicz, clinical nutritionist, and on this channel we talk about health, healthy nutrition, nutritional tips, and how to prevent some diseases and disturbances. And if you are interested in these subjects, please stay with me. In today's episode, we will talk about parasites, how to protect yourself from the parasitic infection, why are we so afraid of parasites, and just the thought of that in our body can be another organism which lives on our expanses and uses the nutrients that we ingest in our daily diet to feed itself, raises our concerns. We come into contact with parasites on a daily basis in our environment through, for example, inadequately cleaned or, for example, undercooked food. Another reasons are, for example, eating food of unknown or unreliable origin, and also food which is exposed to all sorts of insects, for example, like flies, which is even more pronounced when it comes to warm months or, for example, in a hot climate. And also, for example, drinking water of unknown origin, even more when we are on holidays, especially those which are exotic. And don't forget about the contaminants we carry on our hands. For example, the contact with the telephone, which is now very often with us, even in the toilet. Can you imagine? And also the source of the parasites is, for example, the contact with the infected animals. Parasites can also live on our clothing, bedding, and other everyday items. The sources of exposure to parasites include also, for example, gardening without gloves, and also, for example, using some swimming pool and unintentionally swallowing water. How can a parasite infection manifest itself? Mainly by gastrointestinal problems, like, for example, abdominal pain, flatulence, diarrhea, nausea, vomiting, and loss of appetite. But also very often we can see the skin problems like hives or itching. And another very popular symptom of the parasite infection is iron deficiency anemia. And who is at risk of parasitic infection development? We should remember that if our immune system is functioning well, we have a very good shield against the parasitic infection. But who is at risk of this parasitic infection development? For sure, people with impaired functioning of the immune system, like, for example, elderly people, but also convalescents after serious illness, also malnourished people, including those undergoing cancer treatment, and also subjects with underdeveloped immune system, like, for example, children. How to protect yourself against parasites naturally? So the basic is a healthy diet, a well-balanced diet, including protein, minerals, vitamins, and also fatty acids, which are key to keeping our immune system in a good shape. And this reduces the possibility of parasitic invasion. And now I would like to present ingredients with an anti-parasitic effects. Those are ingredients which are essential for our immune system. They are an important protective shield against parasitic invasion. First of all, I would like to mention protein, which is crucial for the synthesis of the immunoglobulin, which is the basis of the proper immune functioning. But also for our immune system, very important is vitamin A, found in liver and also in egg yolks, and also carotenoids, which are the provitamin of vitamin A, and we can find the carotenoids in green, yellow, and orange vegetables and also fruits. For example, pumpkin, carrots, green peas, but also dill, peaches, and apricots. Nutrients important for our immune system and also protective when it comes to parasitic infection is also vitamin E, found in hazelnuts, sunflower seeds, but also in wheat germ oil and, for example, avocados. And the important vitamin is also vitamin C, found in rose hips, acerola, black currants, parsley, peppers, and horseradish. Minerals important for our immune system is also zinc, and we should remember that adequate supply of that zinc reduces the parasite burdens, and we can find zinc, for example, in eggs, in beef, peas, beans, wheat germ, and also in walnuts. And for our immune system also important is iron, and mainly we can find iron in meat, but also in pulses when it comes to plant-based food. And for our immune system also important is iodine, which is found in iodized salt, but also in fish and seafood. What diet is not recommended when it comes to anti-parasitic effects? Laboratory studies have shown that a diet high in sugar increases the parasitic load, so this is not advisable to eat too much sugar. And which food products have a strong anti-parasitic effects? For example, pumpkin seeds. The cucurbitacins present in them have an infectious effect on certain intestinal parasites like tapeworms, roundworms, or for example pinworms, and those makes the pumpkin seed an effective and protective shield against them. Another food products with antiparasitic effects are cashew nuts. They contain an anacardic acid, which is effective in protecting against larval stage of tapeworms. Another helpful food product is green tea with its EGCG, epigallocatechin gallate. This is the main catechin found in green tea, and EGCG is effective against babesiosis, an infectious disease caused by Babesia parasites transmitted by ticks. Another plant is gurmar, so-called sugar destroyer, which is mainly associated with anti-diabetic effects, but also shows detoxifying properties, including anti-parasitic effects. We shouldn't forget about elderberries. They have a detoxifying effect, removing various harmful metabolites from the body, including toxins. It is worth to mention that elderberries possess also anti-parasitic effects, but what is important, they cannot be eaten in raw because fresh fruit can be poisonous. But we can use the preparation obtained from it, for example, jam or juice. Important seeds are fenugreek, which contain mucus-forming compounds, and saponins, which in turn exhibit antimicrobial activity. Turmeric, but also temulawak, which is a related species of turmeric, so-called Javanese turmeric, which is found on the island of Java, and it inhibits the growth of the Babesia parasites. What else? Camel milk. Why? Because it reduces the parasite load in the body, but also increases the activity of an important enzyme, glutathione S transferase. It is an important detoxifying enzyme in our body, which protects us against toxins and other harmful substances, including parasites. Another important anti-parasitic plant is Moringa oleifera. This is an interesting tree, and we have many usable parts of this tree, like for example flowers, seeds, leaf, bark or roots. And what is the most important here, that Moringa contains flavonoids which have very strong anti-parasitic properties. Other anti-parasitic plants include common rue, buckthorn bark and also boldo. And in conclusion, what kind of practical tips we can use on a daily basis? First of all, avoid the consumption of the food of unknown origin, including water. Avoid undercooked foods like raw meat, raw eggs, raw fish or unpasteurized food products. Why? Because a proper heat treatment is a key. Cooking destroys parasites, especially those contained in a raw meat, fish or seafood. Avoid a high sugar diet, which means avoid sugar, sweets, sweet drinks and also food products with glucose, fructose, corn syrup, excessive amounts of the jams, marmalade and also honeys. Why? Because sugar disturbs the functioning of the immune system. Include in your diet bioactive foods that contain antioxidants like, for example, berries, herbs, garlic, onion, nigella, ginger, cloves, pepper, thyme, turmeric and also seeds, including pumpkin seeds. These food products contain bioactive components which fight parasites. Ensure an adequate amount of the fiber in the diet. It is very important because fiber improves the function of the digestive tract and it helps to remove fecal matter more effectively. Fiber is mainly found in fruits and vegetables, but eat them only after washing. Ensure the adequate fluid intake to support detoxification processes. The recommended amount of the fluid for women is at least 2 liters per day and for men at least 2.5 liters per day, of course including all infusions, tea and also good quality water. And of course, don't forget about daily physical activity, which is crucial for a proper functioning of our immune system, because it boosts the functioning of the immune system. And it is worth to mention that proper functioning of the immune system is the most important shield against parasites. If you liked my video, please leave the thumbs up, subscribe the channel and see you in the next episode.